Welcome to another episode of This Woman Works. I am your host, Mike Patton. And on this episode, we will be talking about a little bit of podcasting as well with my guest, who has definitely made her name known in the podcasting world. That would be Robin. How you doing, Robin?
Hello. Hi. Thank you so much for having me, Mike.
Yes. It is a pleasure to have you on the show. We're going to get into your journey to where you are now and what all you're doing in just a little bit. But of course, up first, we always do the Black Girl Magic moment for the This Woman Works show. And of course, on this show, we will be talking about someone that is actually connected to Chicago and maybe a TV sense. That would be Lynn Whitfield. Now, Lynn Whitfield, for those that don't know, she is 71 years old. Does not look a day past 50 or even 40 something for some at that. Now, I'm just want to say that, because, black don't crack, and she's the epitome of that.
Okay.
So, of course, she was born in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and she actually did Broadway with shows like The Great Mac Daddy and Showdown in the 70s. That's where she kind of started her career after she moved to DC and then moved to New York to be on Broadway. But her first big break in terms of being on the screen was 1981 when she was Jill Thomas on Hill Street Blues. So that was her first big break. The 1980s, of course, she did The Women of Brewster Street, the ABC miniseries, which, I'm pretty sure every black household watched. And then she also in the 1990s, the Josephine Baker story. Yeah. I remember that it was on HBO. She actually it required her to age from 18 to 68 in that movie, just her. So basically, she was 18-year-old Josephine Baker, and then a little makeup, things like that. She was 68-year-old Josephine Baker, which I thought was greatly underappreciated. How she did basically the character from 18 to 68, 50 years worth of a character played by one person, which was very, very amazing. Of course, 1996, Thin Line Between Love and Hate. She played Brandy. Boy, oh boy, everyone remembers Brandy in that movie. Now, one thing that everyone doesn't remember is that movie grossed $35 million on an $8 million budget, which is huge. And then, of course, 2000s, Head of State with Chris Rock. Everyone remembers. I'm pretty sure people remember that role. Medea's Family Reunion. Of course, she was kind of the evil mom. And then you got it. Yeah, she plays that role well. She plays that role really, really well. And Greenleaf, she was the pastor's wife in Greenleaf. Now, I remember watching Greenleaf, and boy, oh boy, she definitely had a little bit of the continuation of the mom and Medea's Family Reunion in Greenleaf.
Not the continuation.
The continuation, yes. She currently is on The Chi. She got up to being a regular for season 7. So she is still out there doing her thing, out there with people like, Jason Weaver's on the show too. Yeah. So, shout out to him, from all the way back to Smart Guy and
Jackson 5 story.
Jackson 5 story. Yes. I still remember every now and again, I still run into that Chingy song where he's on One Call Away. I still remember that too.
Yeah, because y'all still on Jason Weaver. He had the vocals since forever.
Yeah, he did. Multi-talented indeed. But of course, Lynn Whitfield, getting back to her, we got to pay respect to someone that has been in the field of acting since the 1970s and is still acting today and still giving great performances. Miss Lynn Whitfield is the Black Girl Magic Moment, the epitome of style, grace, and longevity. You have any thoughts on Lynn Whitfield?
Yeah, I mean, I love her. I think she definitely is the epitome of Black woman. What's crazy is one of the other movies that I liked her in that she doesn't get enough praise for, I think, is Eve's Bayou. And her being able to kind of again portray that mother role, but also just create this epitome of just like, you know, Black class. I feel like even when she's doing dirt or she's being a villain or whatever the case is, she still embodies this like timeless classiness about her that I just love in every role that she plays. So yeah, I love her. I think to me, she's just the epitome of a class Black woman. She just knows how to put it together, and I just love that.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I mean, just when you think Lynn Whitfield might be done with a role, then there's more.
Yeah.
And she gives it such depth. Every role she's played, you can see the passion that she plays the
Yes.
role with. You can
Yes.
always tell, you know, the one key thing I notice about her and her roles, and especially when she's playing like maybe a difficult role or kind of a villain type role, you notice the villain type role, you can see it, the anger or the passion in her forehead. You can see it in her nose. You just see it. She just portrays it so well. I mean, I do wish she had one movie or many movies where she wasn't playing the villain, but or somewhat of a villain, but you know, she does it so well though.
I mean, that's a part of her repertoire, you know. I don't know. She just ever since Brandy did it. Brandy did it.
Yes, Brandy took it over the top. I will say for sure. And yeah, I still remember my dad saying, "Don't bring no Brandy's home." You know, it was Keisha's from New Jack City, and then he went to Brandy's from Thin Line Between Lemon and I was like, "Well, Dad, you know, if you keep going down this line, I ain't gonna be able to bring nobody home." But you
Nobody.
know,
Nobody.
but yeah, but that is the Black Girl Magic moment for this episode. But we got to get into some other Black Girl Magic. That'd be Robin. Now, Robin. You know, of course, you know, Pillowtalk Podcast, we're going to get into that too, but we have to talk about young Robin. Now, where did young Robin grow up?
I grew up in Waukegan, Illinois. So I'm a suburb girl. Born and raised there, and always visited Chicago, obviously, but I love the slow suburban life. You know, I always say that Chicago made me, but you know, the suburbials, they raised me. So
Okay. All right. So, you know, growing up in a suburb of Chicago, essentially, right?
yeah.
Suburb of Chicago. Okay. So how was it growing up in, you know, in the suburb of Chicago? I know everyone talks about the hustle and bustle of being in the city and things like that. And you said it was slower. So how was that kind of growing up there and just kind of seeing Chicago kind of within earshot, essentially?
Yeah. I mean, I think for me, it just was allowed me to create balance. When you're in the city, you do have to be on go mode and you got to be on top of your game and you got to know where to go and what to do and have your stuff together. But in a suburban life, you're able to kind of slow down. You're able to kind of really connect and be a little more humble to the things you already have acquired, the connections you already have. You don't feel like you need to necessarily be super sharp to do what you need to do. Because even around the suburban area that I live, I do a lot of media stuff. I've hosted stuff. I do nonprofit stuff. So to me, it allows me to connect and also not put so much pressure on myself to be a certain way and to fulfill, you know, certain things all the time. When I'm here, I can just reconnect. I can get myself together, and then I can go and conquer everything I need to conquer when I go in the city.
Okay. All right. All right. So growing up, we all have ambitions and dreams and things that we want to do. I know with me, I wanted to be a professional football player or a sports agent. Now, I made it to college football, but I didn't make it to pro. And then when I saw the classes and things I would have to do for a sports agent, I said, nah, I'm a pass. Ended up getting a marketing degree that I never really used in marketing, which was quite funny. So what was one of the first things that you wanted to be, you know, as a kid growing up?
You know what's funny? I have wanted to be Oprah all my life.
Wow. Okay.
Like I loved Oprah growing up. I loved the talk show era, Ricky Lake, Jenny Jones, Montel. So it's funny because this is literally what I wanted to do since I was a kid. My backup plan was beautician. But to your point, right? It's a lot of steps. I don't really like dealing with people funky attitudes all the time when I gotta do their hair, and I just kind of left that where it was. But I've been interviewing people since I could walk. I've been talking to people, interviewing people, asking questions I shouldn't be asking forever.
Oh my goodness, I can only imagine. And then plus learning and hearing, and then trying to be like, oh, okay, well, do this way, this that way. Well, I want to do it this way.
Exactly.
Probably, yeah.
Just hard all my life.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, definitely want to get into kind of what you do now and what you are currently doing, and all the different things that you are doing. But of course, first we do have to take a quick commercial break on This Woman Works with your host, Mike Patton, here with Robin.
EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash are two of the best beard grooming products for men worldwide. They help promote growth, keep your beard moisturized and soft, and enhance your overall upkeep of your facial hair. And with the new promo code MPAFC10, you can get 10% off all these products. Just go to www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. Again, that's www.etsy.com/shop/EBO Beard Butter. And again, the promo code MPAFC10. Again, MPAFC10, where you can get 10% off any products except for beard boxes. So treat your beard better today by going to get this the EBO Beard Butter and EBO Beard Wash.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works. Now, of course, Robin, I know you're probably wondering, why have I got a beard commercial on a show about Black women? Let me explain. Now, brothers that are listening, I'm pretty sure there's some brothers listening. I'm pretty sure women can probably co-sign what I'm going to say about brothers. A lot of times we don't really take care of ourselves all the time. A lot of times stuff we don't know about ourselves that we need to take care of, we don't know until we actually speak to a Black woman. And she's like, hey, you can do this to really, point out a few different things and be like, hey, you can do this to kind of help yourself out, or take care of this, or do this. This is where EBO Beard Butter comes into play. Because, brothers, I know some of us walk around with some coarse beards. And I'm pretty sure the women in our lives do not like coarse beards. So that is why EBO Beard Butter is here to help out with the coarse beards and maybe come across some women that can get this product to the men in their lives, whether it be their dads, their uncles, their cousins, their significant others, whoever. There you go. So that's why EBO Beard Butter is a commercial on this show. Kind of, that break it down a little bit, okay. Like,
Yeah, I can see that. I could definitely see that.
All right. So, of course, Black women are the center of just about everything that goes on in the black experience in this world. So you gotta bring it on. I got to bring it on home somehow.
I like that. You're not wrong. I like that.
Got you. Well, getting back to the show, of course, we want to talk about what you do and what all do you currently do? I know you do Pillowtalk Podcast, which, I definitely enjoy getting to know people that I don't know and getting to understand, I guess, kind of what they do and different things like that. But what all is it that you do in terms of Pillowtalk Podcast, and what else do you do?
Well, yeah, Pillowtalk Podcast, that's definitely like my baby, if you will. I started that idea actually back in college, but when I was at a university, I went to SIUC. I studied broadcast journalism there, and I actually used to do the campus news. And that was my first time getting a dose of, being Black and in media and what that really meant. And back then, I would say I was a lot more eccentric, had my little crazy hairstyles and stuff. And that was the first time I dealt with racism and just the reality of being again, a colored person having that authority in media. And I just didn't want to be censored. I didn't want to, not be able to talk about what I wanted to talk about. So Pillow Talk initially started as just a platform for me to voice Black stories. I used to do a lot of coverage on the missing Black girls, some cold case files that were major. And then it just kind of transformed into me interviewing people and creating like a vulnerable moment. So Pillow Talk now is just about vulnerability. It's about sharing an intimate conversation. A lot of people, kind of play up on the pillow talk aspect of sharing secrets. And that's true. I mean, you essentially are sharing a secret with me, but it's not meant to be shamed. It's not meant to, put you down. It's an opportunity to learn somebody else's beliefs and somebody else's reasonings behind the way they think the way they do. So I enjoy that. And then it's just become, this whole fun thing. People like to come and talk to me. We do a 10 minutes of honesty, which I think plays in more to that vulnerability. And it's just a good time. I think it's just a good time. So that's definitely my main baby, Pillow Talk podcast for sure. And then my big girl job, as I said before offline, I'm a marketing director for a nonprofit, which I'm very happy about. I'm 31, so to be a director in my field right now, I think is pretty big. I deal more so with branding, creating website design, all promotional material, communications, PR. I do all of that for the organization. And then I manage about 5 people who create media, and I, teach them content and branding as well. So that's like my main job. And then I am a music and entertainment writer for Hip Hop Vibe, and we are a verified media source on MSN, Yahoo News. We do numbers. We do over about maybe 1 to 2 million views a day in our stories. So right now I'm trying to get editor position over there. Hopefully my editor right now watches this and he can, do that. But that's also my other job that I do as well. So I balance those 3 things out. So media is just like my whole life, 365 every day.
Sounds like fun. So, of course, you mentioned when you thought about Pillow Talk and things like that. So how did you kind of dive into, not Pillow Talk, but just marketing director, how did you think of going in that direction? When did you first think of, well, maybe I want to do this and maybe I want to do editing and then I'm going to do this as well? So how did you kind of think about, I'm going to do all 3 of these things and make this thing work? How did that kind of come about?
Man, really, it was just divine timing. I don't want to do anything that doesn't really connect with everything else I'm doing. So I try to only add stuff on that I'm already familiar with or that won't kind of mess up the flow. I was already writing for a while and I love doing that. I love creating content pieces and, copywriting, but that also allowed me how to write differently for different types of brands and different types of audiences. So I feel like that was good practice. As far as the nonprofit, I've actually been in the nonprofit world for like 5 years. So I've had a few different titles in that world. And this particular nonprofit, they have just been fans of me and Pillow Talk and what I was doing with my show. I won an award. I won a 312 award for Pillow Talk Podcast. So I was voted Chicago's top podcast for 2023. And just me being able to brand myself, I think, outside of the suburban bubble, it really, put eyes on me and people were like, whatever you're doing is working because people are noticing you. So you're doing it. And I just figured out, how could I do this in all levels? How can I do this for a nonprofit? How can I do this for a struggling business? How can I do this for an entrepreneur? And so that just led me to research and get an opportunity. Initially, when I got the job, I was just like social media manager. Mm-hmm. And my first year there, I was able to grow our visibility by 60% within the year. So obviously they were like, you know what you're doing. And from that point, I was able to just create other ideas that were media wise, but pertained specifically to the client, which was the nonprofit. So just learning how to build on myself as a brand and how I build my brand. How can I do that for other people? And once I saw that increase, I just kind of put it together, used it, and, created a content schedule. Eventually, I became the marketing director. And it was just a full circle moment. But like I said, I try to do everything that coincides. So the marketing coincides with me as a brand, the writing coincides with me as a brand. So I try to make sure everything just works.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. All right. So it sounds like you definitely got it all together, but I know there's always one moment where you're like, okay, this is it. This is where I'm supposed to be. And this is what I'm supposed to be doing. What was that moment for you?
Mm.
I know you probably had that moment with probably
Right. I'm
all three
like,
of them. So
but no, I would say actually recently I had the pleasure of covering the Maconomics Wealth Summit this summer with Ross Mack. He's a big Chicago finance influencer. He's on Yahoo News. He's done stuff with Revolt. He's amazing. And he did a summit, and Ryan Leslie was there, and I got to interview Ryan Leslie. And maybe young people don't know. I don't know, but some of us a
I
little
know who Ryan
older.
Leslie is.
You know who Ryan Leslie is, but it was just like a full circle moment. Growing up, I loved his music. I loved Cassie. I loved everything he was doing. I even loved the fact that he got out of mainstream to create a different way to connect with his fans. That was just more reasonable for him. So that to me was a full circle moment. Seeing him, talking to him, being able to take pictures with him, and really just be in my element. Not chasing him like a fan. Not waiting to get an autograph. It was like he was brought to me. Oh, this is who you need to talk to before you get up out of here, Mr. Leslie, so that you can be interviewed. So that was like a moment like, yeah, I'm supposed to be here.
Okay. All right. All right. So I'm pretty sure in the marketing, when you rose it by 60%, that was the moment you're like, okay. Yeah, this is me. I got this. But I don't know if you had a moment there. Did you have a moment there as well?
Yeah. I mean, because initially when I was coming into it, I had only focused on one sector, which was the social media at that point. I hadn't even gotten into all of the branding and creating graphics and all of that stuff for the company. I purely wanted to show them that I understood this part. I feel like when you're branding, brand manager, people want results. You have to have some sort of measurable way to show that it's effective. And I didn't really, in this social media world right now, we're just now learning how to provide those measurables, right? And figure out ways to show people this is where you were at when I met you, but now you're here. So yeah, I think for me, that was like the tip of it. Like, okay, now I'm in my bag and maybe I am supposed to be here. Maybe I need more responsibility to figure out what else I can do. So I would say that probably was like a tipping point for sure. Like, okay, you in the right field.
Got you. Now, with everything in every business or every venture, there's always some hardships and things like that. And there's always some advice that evolves out of that. We're going to get into that with Robin, but first we're going to take a quick commercial break on This Woman Works.
A shift. A shift is something that happens and changes the dynamics. And that's what happened when Garrett Logistics was born. After 10 years as a sales pro in the logistics world of sporting goods, John Garrett decided to pivot to the world of freight and start a brokerage. So you're saying to yourself, why trust Garrett Logistics? Well, Garrett Logistics helps shippers improve overall workflow, along with increased on-time pickup and delivery percentages. Last-minute loads, multi-drop pickups, and more are part of the services with Garrett Logistics. They're available Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 6 p.m., and Saturday, 8 a.m. to 12 p.m., all times Central Standard Time. So give them a ring at 615-400-8484. That's 615-400-8484, or you can email them at john@garrettlogistics.co or visit their website at garrettlogistics.co. Garrett Logistics, where the motto is, it's not just freight to us, it's your business.
All right, and we are back on This Woman Works with Robin. And Robin, like I mentioned before the break, there's always some hardships, some things to overcome when it comes to chasing dreams and doing things that you love to do. And of course, your career, I'm pretty sure there's been some things that happened. So what was one of the hardships that you kind of faced along the journey? I know with doing a podcast, of course, I do 2 of them. I know there's always going to be some kind of hardships there. I know there's got to be some in terms of the marketing. And then also some in terms of, you know, the writing and editing. Maybe the person doesn't see the view that you do, something like that. So if you can talk about some of those different hardships that you may have encountered along the way.
Yeah. Oh, right. You sure we got time for that? No, I'm just kidding. But I've definitely been through a lot of changes. For me right now, even to this day, still is studio. When I started doing, you know, podcasting, I was doing it in my house, you know, in my parents' room, and well, a room in my parents' house. And once it grew, people were demanding, you know, to see me. They wanted the in studio, in person experience, which I obviously I get it. But when you're trying to figure out how you're going to do it, and you know you're trying to figure out a way to make the money, because I wasn't getting paid when I started this. I did a lot of free stuff for people, obviously, and I had to figure out how to get a studio. I've had probably 4 studios. I've had a new studio every year that I've done this, and it's never by choice. it's it's still irritating, but yeah, finding studio space was hard. The Purple Room, which was the last studio I just had, was my favorite studio, and I was devastated that I had to leave that studio. So just finding your space as a creator is important. You don't want to feel cramped. You don't want to feel, you know, limited to express yourself, limited to do what you need to do. So finding studio space that I'm comfortable with has been one of my biggest struggles. Right now I'm at My Radio Chicago, which is great. Shout out to the My Radio Chicago team. They're amazing, but it's still not mine. So that is still on my list. My ultimate goal is to have my own studio space. That's mine. But editing, yes. Oh my God, I hate it. I hate it. Even in college, I hated it. But I don't have a team. I do everything by myself still. I have one cameraman, Calvin West, who was big help for me in the beginning. He did a lot of my coverage for me. But you know, people get booked, they get busy. So right now I'm in a position of trying to build a team. So doing everything by myself, it's hard, man. It is so hard. And yeah, I think that is what, outside of me loving it, me editing everything and doing everything by myself, that helps me stay consistent. Like, no, let me stay on top of this, because if I don't do it, it's just not going to get done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Definitely being basically a so-called one-man band or one-woman band is definitely a tough thing, and I totally understand where you're coming from on that one. Now, of course, how do you kind of overcome some of those different things in terms of, you know, not having the studio time as you would like, or not being able to have the team to support you? How do you kind of mentally kind of overcome those different things, or, you know, physically overcome those things?
Whew, look, pray, Lord, pray. Give me the strength to get through this every day. But no, well, for one, I like to try to always be humble. I try to be grateful, because this is what I asked for. So whenever I had those moments of like overwhelmness, or like I can't get it done, or, you know, I can't do it, I have to think like, there was a point in time where you weren't getting booked at all, Robin. You know, there was a point in time where your talents were undiscovered and you were depressed. So I try to always be thankful, for one, that I'm in this position. Try to be thankful for the people that support, you know, me and everything I do, for one, definitely. Time management, schedule, you know, I am down to a schedule like crazy Monday through Saturday, like, because I need it. You know, I need to be able to hold myself accountable and make sure that I deliver, make sure I stay on top of stuff, right? Another thing too is that I research. I'm forever a student, as I like to say. I loved school, by the way. I loved school. But I always try to make time to like research, you know, trends, stories, documentaries, anything that is trending or pertains just to my life and my skills. I think that helps me feel more confident to overcome stuff. When I've taken some time to nurture my brain, or learn a new skill, or learn a faster way to do something, that makes me more confident to knock out some of the other stuff that I have to do. Now I feel better equipped to do it, you know. And then work out. Lastly, I go to the gym. I'm gonna go to the gym after we finish, before I finish working. But going to the gym has been a big stress reliever for me. Because I work out with no headphones. I'm one of those people. So I don't know
Oh,
if y'all
wow. Okay.
them, but I'm really like, focused when I go. And I usually go about 3 to 4 times a week. So it helps a lot.
I think I'm like, wow, that you go and don't have no music, because
I
like,
know
wow.
people said they don't know whether to be scared of me or to, commend me for that. I don't know how to feel, but I don't work out with music.
No, I'm gonna tell you a funny thing about me. Let's see. When I work out, I used to work out back in the day. You got the crunk music, a little John or something to go get you hype in the gym, right? Now I listen to like R&B or like some neo soul or something like that, because I'm like, man, I don't need all that hype music. I'm not trying to mess around, have a heart attack or burst a blood vessel in the gym. Nah, I'm not trying to do all that. So yeah, so now I listen to like all kinds of neo soul and R&B music, which people are probably listening like, really? I'm like, yeah, really. So I can stay nice and calm and get the most out of my movements, as opposed to
That's
trying
what
to,
you're supposed to do.
do all the craziness in the gym. So
That's what you're supposed to do. That help. They
right.
said that helps you with the rhythm, like doing R&B and stuff. That does actually help, like with your rhythm. So you're doing it right.
Yeah, I can't do the crunk music no more. I'm over here trying to do, crunk music. You're doing 225. You're trying to get like 10 times to get to like 7.
Definitely
You over there,
so.
you over there like listening to Lil Jon. He said, yeah, okay. You trying to push me. He said, yeah, okay, and be done jack yourself up. So, but so in all the different things that you've done, what's some of the best advice that you've actually received?
The best advice, probably, I don't know. I've received a lot of advice. I would have to say what's really stuck with me is probably that, everybody is not going to like you, and that's okay. I think as, media people, we tend to get in this bubble sometimes being liked. We want to be everybody's favorite. We want to be everybody's friend, but you just can't be everybody's friend. And that's okay. It's okay if everybody doesn't like you. That doesn't make you a bad person. Doesn't take away from your credibility. Doesn't take away from your skill. You just not everybody's cup of tea. I think in the beginning, I went out of my way to be in everybody's face to make sure they knew who I was and try to build those connections. And half of those people I don't even talk to no more, and they're not even doing any media, I'm still here. So I think now I'm okay with everybody not liking me. I'd rather have genuine connections that will last the test of time, whether that be 2 or 3 people, versus a group of people that do like me, but really can't do nothing for me. So everybody's not going to like you, and that's okay.
Okay. All right. And what is some advice you could give someone that may have an interest in either, whether it's marketing or, kind of doing podcasting or, just writing in general? What's, that may be trying to follow in the footsteps of things that you're doing? You have any advice for them?
Yeah. For one, I would say if you can find a mentor. That's something that I wish I would have had right now.
Same.
Okay, look, I wish I would have had a mentor. I had somebody briefly in the beginning, teach me the ins and outs of recording and audio and stuff. But if I would have had somebody like me to help me along the journey, I think I would be farther along. So if you can find somebody that you can confide in, even if it's somebody to just check your work, to just give you feedback, to recommend things to you, definitely get a mentor. And then, be comfortable expressing yourself. In media world, obviously, everybody is going to have their own opinion, but it's also easy to get swayed. It's easy to go to the majority when you're not confident in your voice, when you're not confident in your facts, you're not confident in what you present. So be confident in your voice. If there's something you want to talk about, something you want to elaborate on, be confident and do that. Don't hesitate, because you're going to miss your moment. And that's just going to build, and you're going to become less and less prominent and confident in your voice. So find your voice early on and be proud and loud when you do speak on stuff. Yeah.
All right. Well, we of course want to thank you for coming on this show. We want to thank you for all the great, wonderful things you're doing. Continue to do those great, wonderful things and have the impact that you're having. But we're not gonna get you out of here after that. There is a game at the end of this show. It's a speed round. It's 10 questions. Are you ready?
I am ready.
And this is designed to allow people to get to know you better as well.
Okay.
All right. So your favorite actress?
My favorite actress. Wow, I have a lot. Who's my favorite actress? Because I love movies.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we got another question in here that ought to be really interesting then at that point.
My favorite actress.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm gonna have to go ahead and give it to Angela Bassett. I'm gonna have to give it to her.
Yeah, Angela seems to be a favorite on this show.
I love
seems to be very much a favorite.
I love me some
Angela. Best. Oh, did you know she actually grew up in Florida? Did you know she grew up in Florida?
Oh no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she grew up in Florida. Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
And was actually on the honors, and graduated with honors, I think too.
Oh.
So, yeah. Best movie you've ever seen?
Ooh.
That's why I said it's going to be interesting. When you said you watch a lot of movies, I was like, "Yep, here we go."
I have a lot of favorite movies. Best movie I've ever seen, though. That's hard.
Yeah. You want to come back to that one?
Yeah. Let me think on that.
All right. This next one's going to be interesting too. Who would play you in a biopic?
I really wish Rihanna could play me, but she's older than me, so I don't know how that would work. But I would like Rihanna to play me in a biopic.
Okay. All right. There we go. Hey, we all got our favorites. Favorite food?
My favorite food, shrimp. Yeah, shrimp. I love shrimp.
Shrimp. God, that used to be my favorite food. It might actually still be on the list. But worst movie of all time.
Worst movie.
I'm still waiting on someone to say a particular movie, but I still don't get it yet.
Worst movie.
Nobody said it.
I have to say that Jeepers Creepers Reborn. Because what was that? Like they could have kept all that. The second one was phenomenal. Better than the first one when they was fighting for their life on that bus. But why that just didn't, I don't, trash.
Well, nobody said Soul Plane yet. I'm still wondering why.
Ooh, hold on now. Don't do too much on Soul Plane. Don't do too much. BET made that a Oscar-winning movie in a lot of black folks. All right.
That's true. But you went to the scary movies. You going right down my alley because I love Saw. Saw is by far one of my favorites. Love all the movies. Jigsaw is probably by far one of my favorite characters of all time.
Okay.
One person, dead or alive, you'd love to eat dinner with.
Ooh, easy. Aaliyah.
Oh, okay.
I love Aaliyah. I remember when she died. I remember exactly where I was. I love her to death. I have a big picture of her in my apartment, but I love Aaliyah. I
was in college when that happened. So I remember exactly. I was coming back from, I believe, a party. And I found out, I was like, well, hold up. What? I was like, hold up. She didn't get to meet me yet. Hold on, what happened? That's what literally.
Yeah, I was on vacation when that happened. And my parents came in our, room telling me, and I just was crying for days. I'm talking about I was dreaming about this lady after she died. But that she was just an impressionable artist. But I would love to meet Aaliyah. I wish I could have met her.
Well, you spoke of vacations. So what's the best vacation spot you've been to?
New York.
I love going to New York. It's fun.
Yes, New York. I stayed in Brooklyn for like a week, and it was literally the best vacation I've ever been on. Still to this day, it was amazing.
Okay. One thing no one would guess about you.
One thing no one would guess about me. I'm actually, I don't know. I mean, I look kind of athletic. What could I say?
Well, I wouldn't know that.
Well, I was gonna say like I can play basketball. Like I used to play basketball growing up. I was like a big tomboy growing up.
Okay.
Sisters. All I have is brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So basketball, football, running around. Like I got my knees scraped up for days because I was outside on the bikes and scooters and thought I was a little boy. So I got a nice little jumper.
Okay. All right. All right. Speaking of sports, favorite athlete of all time?
Oh, I'm gonna have to give it to Kobe.
Okay. Well, you know that's sacrilegious since you're in Chicago area and don't say Michael Jordan. But
It is. But I love Kobe. And I love Kobe as a brand, even outside of the game. He was a big star as well in the 90s. He had that same type of impact, influential impact. So I love Kobe.
Got you. One person
We doing
you'd
this to
love
say
to.
Jordan. We saying Kobe, okay?
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Now, one person you'd love to interview.
Issa Rae.
Yeah. Me and you on the same page there.
I love Issa. She used to tweet me. We tweeted each other a few times on Twitter, a few years ago. I was trying to get in there, but I haven't given up hope yet. I love Issa. I need to interview her.
That's one person I want to interview. I have interviewed one of the people that I've wanted to interview. It took me 2 years, but I made it happen.
Okay.
That was Jamel Hill. I actually had her on one of my shows one time. So that it took 2 years to make it happen. I was listening to her podcast all the time. I was like, man, I've got to make this happen. I've got 2 other people on the list now, and I've got Bomani Jones, I've got Michael Smith. I want to interview, so I've got them, and of course Dominic Foxworth is on that list too. So those are 3 other people that I still haven't made it yet, but hey, hopefully I'll get there. But I was on Brother from Another 2 times with them, so I got interviewed twice. I got interviewed by Michael Smith, but I didn't get to interview him.
Yeah,
so it kind of worked in a sense. It worked. Well, okay, we're gonna go back to it. Best movie you've ever seen.
You know what?
Or one of your favorite movies of all time. We'll just go with that way.
Yeah. One of my favorite movies of all time is Goodfellas. I love what did you say? How do you say Martin Scorsese? Martin Scorsese. Yeah. I love his stuff. That man is raw. But Goodfellas, when I was in college, I ain't had no cable. And I just was like renting movies from the libraries all the time. And I tell you, I watched Goodfellas for like a month straight. I am obsessed with movies. I like gangster films though anyway, but to me, the imagery, the storytelling, Ray Liotta, the lineup, I mean, it's just to me one of the best movies ever made. That's one of my favorite movies though. I love Goodfellas.
I remember the movie with The Usual Suspects. You remember that one?
That movie was good too.
With Kaiser Sose.
That movie was good too.
Yeah, the ending of that one was probably by far one of the best endings of any movies. Okay. I'm like, man, how he do that? How did he do? I was like shocked watching that movie, like the end of it. Now, I will say this though, also the ending of Saw was really good too.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that one.
The first 2, that'd be the thing though. When you doing these chains, they lose that integrity. But to me, the first 2 endings for Saw, like fire. Fire.
Very much. Now I did like I don't know. The last one I watched, I didn't get to watch Saw X yet. I haven't watched that one yet. The one that's basically Saw X is basically with Jigsaw, but he's going to Mexico. It's like it was like happened between 2 and 3, I believe, or 3 and 4, where he went to Mexico, where he got turned down for that surgery. But a doctor said about going to Mexico. That's where that one takes place. So it actually is not after he passed away. That one's actually while he's still living. So I definitely want to see that one, but yeah, I loved all the Saw movies except for when they started like getting like all these predecessors and successors and all that stuff. I was like, well, you're doing a little too much now.
Too much. You tainting the story.
Yeah, it was good though. I really did enjoy it though, but it was too many. It's too many predecessors and this person and that person, and then you see in that last one, I'm like, hold on, this dude's still living, and then I'm like, hold on, it's doing a lot. But that was the speed round, and we have wrapped it all up. Again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, Robin. Greatly appreciated you giving up your time, so that way I can allow more people to learn about you. So, if you want to. The floor is yours. You can tell everyone where they can find you on social media, where they can find your podcast, where they can find anything you do.
Yeah.
It's your time.
Well, thank you again, Mike. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate just your support and, just believing in everything Robin E is about and Pillow Talk. So thank you. I really do appreciate it. You guys can follow me on IG at Robin E93. You can search Pillow Talk Podcast on Facebook and all streaming platforms. It's a little purple icon with some locks. That's me. You see the purple icon with the locks? That's me. You guys can also check out Hip Hop Vibe to see all the latest articles. I did mention, but I also write for Show Mag as well. So if you guys are interested in checking out some of those for new music and just new trending events, check that out as well. And I hope to see some of your guests. And Mike, you're gonna have to come on Pillow Talk now.
All right. We'll set it up. We'll set it up. Just let me know. Of course, I'm the host of the show, Mike Patton. You can find me on the artist formerly known as Twitter at Mike Patton 82. Yeah, I said the artist formerly known as Twitter because I'm paying homage to Prince. He was the artist formerly known as Prince for a while. So we're going to roll with that on the artist formerly known as Twitter. But Mike Patton 82, MikePatton 82. And you can find me on Instagram and Threads at that's THA, not THE, _general_MP. This Woman Works is available on YouTube, of course, the Mike Patton Network, also available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, you name it, we are there. I want to thank you all for tuning into this episode of This Woman Works. We're out. Peace.